Welcome back to Late Night Dominion. Take it away, Beetle.
No one tells me what we're gonna have in the open spots, and now I just see Ron Burgundy. Nope, and then I just laugh at the start of it. Alright, so welcome back, episode 28. My name is Beetle, and I say this thing in the beginning, as you know. We've got the muscle kid in the top left, blank space. Bottom right, we've got young Nixus. And we've got in the bottom, did I say bottom right, Nixus? Bottom left is Sir Ron Burgundy of San Diego. But yeah, episode 28, we're going to talk about the Esper, since this big Esper class drop happened this week. So all you Esper fans out there, if you like it more than us, let us know, because you probably do. And yeah, Blank, let's get into the news and stuff and talk about this Esper.
All right. I can't look over because it's too much for me to look over and see that right now. A little bit about the show synopsis. We always give you your WildStar Weekly News. This is the place, Thursday nights. We're going to talk a little bit about the Esper. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. If you haven't checked out the information, we're going to hand it to you. All you got to do is sit there, have a drink, and hang out. We're going to talk a little bit about stuff that's been on Reddit that Carbine's been posting that you guys need to know. Just so you know, guys, we do have a moderator in chat helping out. That is Kat. If you've got links, you have breaking news or questions, anything, feel free to send it to her. She's got a nice little green sword next to her name. Make sure to follow this Twitch channel to know about any cool times other than Thursday nights where we get a chance to stream. Check us all out on Twitter. I'm not sure we have Ron Burgundy's Twitter. And like our stuff on Facebook. With that, we're going to get into our weekly news and our topics for the week here. With that, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the WildStar Wednesday. It was reintroducing the Esper. You guys are going to get a link. It comes directly from WildStar Online, and they updated the Esper class page. There was also, and you guys are going to see shortly here, the actual dev speak done, put back out on YouTube on the Esper. And then a big chunk of what we're going to talk about tonight is a little bit of a breakdown of what you need to know of the Esper. So with that here, hopefully you guys should be seeing that video soon. We're going to get into what you need to know. The first part is they are damage or healing. There'll be no tanking for these light armored fellows. Healing can be set up burst or sustained. There are both targeted and freeform heals. There are also AoE heals, party or faction based. There is a mixture of allowed targets for the AoE heals. Some are party specific while others are faction specific. The main rule of thumb that Carbine goes by when determining the setting is if a healer could get griefed by someone when they are casting a heal. First subtopic we got here is freeform versus target heal. They are really working on, even though some of the heals are you have to target, and some of them are just easier run around AoE ones like we just mentioned. They're working to make all of the heals viable. There aren't going to be those sort of skills that you're like, yeah, well, this one doesn't really synergize anywhere, so we're not going to keep it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and they're going to make sure that we get the strongest set of heals on our Esper. A little bit about what sets them apart from other healers. Beetle, did you have something you want to mention here?
Yeah, the big thing here is the freeform versus the targeted heals, and I really enjoy that it's the power of the heal versus the ease of use is what they said. So sorry, I'm a little sick still. If something is really difficult, like line heal or an AoE heal with a small circle, that power is going to be more, is what they're essentially saying. You're going to heal for more if you are skilled enough to hit with that, which is actually really awesome. And it comes back to that whole thing we talked about with the skill cap and the skill level of players. It makes you go out of your way where you're like, all right, I really need to get good at this line heal. I need to know where my warrior is running. I need to know what he's going to be doing so I can hit him with this line heal. And that's a big thing. Dang it. I'm dying.
I'm going to agree with you. The idea of this is, because we talked briefly about AoE heals. Hopefully there's some more down here. Being able to target in or hit people with specific spells, that adds so much to your gameplay. So, again, what we've said over and over and over for WildStar, instead of just, you run around, you do your chain heal, it hits the lowest health person. Now it's going to be like, well, that guy threw his heal here, we need to go there. Or the opposite of that, the healer's going to have to move to try and hit people with a spell. I mean, that's when we're talking about getting the most out of your gameplay. The healers that are the best at staying out of the fire and are good at shooting out their green lasers of awesomeness are going to keep people up longer. What we're going to talk about now is what sets them apart from other healers. Finishers is what they end up doing is, sorry guys, all over in the document here today, they gain psi points, gives them access to the most powerful burst heals in the game. That's what it said over at Reddit. And apparently they have the more single target heals than any other class. And it's also saying that they have a stackable heal over time, which name is Bolster. And there is another spell called Mind Over Body. It's a long cast single target heal that places an outgoing heal buff at your current location. That has some cool implications. Beetle?
Yeah, the fact that they say most single target heals than any other class, this is a big thing for them to kind of come out and say at this point with people trying to figure out, all right, I like healing, which healer am I going for? Well, if you're going for, that pocket healer, that guy that's always going to be on the tank, yes, there may be an AoE healer out there that's going to be doing more heals, but this single target heal here is like, all right, we have 40 people in the raid, this one healer, you are this tank's back pocket. Like, you're going to be, and when you're thinking about that, it's like, all right, what class am I going to if I'm a pocket healer? Well, most likely it's going to be the Esper, based on what they say on this AMA. Heals. And I understand, single target heals aren't always the best for the pocket healing, but they at least lead to the quickest and, just straight and narrow with the single target. So, Nixus.
So blank space. I actually have a question directed to you. You being someone who's been, who is rather experienced in the arena. What do you think this is saying regarding, their viability in the arena? It doesn't say that they're going to be the most consistent. It says they're going to have the best, burst heals. Now, what I'd like to know, regarding your opinion is, do you think that coming out and saying this means that, they're essentially picking the go-to class for, twos, for example, where because they have the most, the biggest arsenal of single target heals, they're the ones you're gonna want to use in in a 2v2 situation, and then like anything, if they ever have this 3v3 5v5, you'd be looking at other classes.
Well, it really does depend on the full design of the class. Yes, they're telling us little pieces, and we are going to get into some of the different parts of the Esper. And when I was playing the Esper at PAX, a lot of fun. You got to get used to moving around. But when it comes to arena, we're going to have to really see the full complement of classes out there, because what we've been told so far right here is just that it is a single target. Okay, that's cool. That might work well in a specific twos setup combination that you build. However, long single cast. That's what they've told us. That's what you're going to expect. You see somebody getting ready to charge something up, that's time for a skilled player to put a CC down. Even if that player is smart enough to say, hey, I'm going to put interrupt armor on myself, and I'm going to cast this big thing. There's two of you. Each one of you uses a CC. Good night. They're now sitting on however long that they sit in that. So until we get a better understanding of healers in general, I'm not willing to jump to that conclusion yet to say, oh man, twos is Esper plus damage. But it is very interesting, as Beetle was saying, to look at it, for them to say that straight up, that most single target heals. It makes me wonder how they balance that with the other classes. So the people don't jump to the same conclusion. You know, like, hey, if I want big heals, like it was, I don't want to say BC, maybe prior to BC, where people would go to paladins just because they could just sit all day and just spam big heals until they were empty. That was their entire job. But we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to see. Still very interesting that they would say that out loud. That being said, we'll move on here to the next little mini topic. Skill shot heal examples. We were given 2. We're going to throw them out to you guys. First one's called Smooth. It heals allies in a line ahead of you. That's going to be, difficult. This game is very action-oriented. You're running around. You're trying to hit somebody with a skill shot, and they're trying to not get hit by damage. That's going to take some skill. That's going to take some getting used to the way that the people you play with move. And the next one is called Projected Spirit. Soon as you read this, you're going to know. Dashes you forward and heals all allies you pass through. If you guys remember a little bit ago, we saw in one of their videos what looked like a farting unicorn. Gonna have to say, yeah. I'm going to just call that farting unicorn from now on out. Beetle?
Yeah, this is an interesting skill because all I see is those times where your healer is in PvP is saying, hey, get this guy off me. Hey, get this guy off me. I can't find you. Where are you? If I want to get him off you, this is what I need to do. Well, you can, dash towards me, heal me, get behind me if you play this correctly, and then I'm looking the person who is on you right in the face anyway. So this is a great skill to move throughout the map. And of course, I'm thinking a PvP standpoint, but it's just like, it's a great skill to be like, all right, guys, here I come. There's 2 following me. Bloom, top off the heals, and then you're right back in the fight. It's really interesting.
Yeah, skill shots, it's one of those things that I feel you're going to see a very, I'm missing with the words I hear. Those who are skilled and play with people and know which way people move, just by playing with them, the game experience are going to see much better results in anything that they do. If you play with somebody and you just happen to realize that they mostly dodge to the right and you're a healer, hopefully after the 15th or 20th time seeing it, I can line this up here. I don't have to move it because when the telegraph comes out, it takes me this long to get it off. He's going to dodge the other way, and hopefully I can line it right up and hit him. I'm really looking forward to seeing that synergy in groups, and especially in PvP. PvE is fun, fighting, dragons and all that is always a good time, but PvP is really where those skills are going to shine. Our next little topic here to let you guys know is they are going to have cleanses. They do have a cleanse as well as a number of debuffs tied to their abilities. Telegraph ranges. We're being told that it varies per skill, but the average length is 25 meters. Interrupt armor. Doesn't stack on players unless coming from different stack groups. Not quite sure about the context of that, but we do know that they do have interrupt armor. It's sounding like you're not going to be able to have like 10 stacks of interrupt armor. Maybe this is the way that it's set up for PvE sort of stuff. So we're going to have to see. And they do tell us a little bit. The ability seen at the end of Dev Speak. People want to know what it was. The name of it is called Phantasmal Armor. It gives both. It gives you both interrupt armor and an absorption shield that blocks damage. It prevents you from being CC'd and gives you a nice chunk of damage mitigation. Beetle?
Yeah, I mean, anybody in chat give me a +1 if you pause that YouTube video right as that was happening at the end. I was just like, what is this? Pause. And I was just like, this, whatever that skill is, looks bad ass. Yeah, right there at the end. I was just like, pause, like, as soon as I could.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. There's also a lot of other really, like, there we go, there's a farting unicorn. So yeah, the stuff that we're talking about was shown there, and then people asked about it on Reddit. The little TTK in there and PvP for Esper. It's one of the fastest, but other classes do give it a run for its money. There's also, there were some questions about Esper Burst versus Stalker Burst. Being told Espers require resource buildup to burst. Stalker Burst is a little different. Hopefully we're going to hear more about this, but it's front-loaded. And the difference, for those of you who are looking for the difference, an Esper's got to build up their charges to then unload their burst. A Stalker, if we go back and we talk about in the World of Warcraft, you go into stealth, you sap somebody or you stun them, and then you backstab them. You're able to get that damage out before. So instead of being able to front load all of that damage, like a Stalker, you have to build it up and then unload it. The Esper innate ability and PvP, 8 seconds of no damage, works the same in PvP and PvE, and is still currently being iterated on. Esper is mainly a damage over time. I'm learning something right now because I did not read this part. Esper is mainly a damage over time or a heal over time caster or pet class. I wouldn't call it a pet class, I guess, but Espers have a variety of heals over time. They have very limited amount of damage over time spells, and you can build a limited action set around casted pets. One of them's name is Phantom Swarm. Gives you 3 small pets, and Geist, which is 1 large pet. Of course, we're being told here that they aren't true pets. They are uncontrolled and has specific goals. So, they're pets that drop damage, pets that taunt, things like that. So, yeah, that's why I was a little confused there. So, not exactly a pet class. Go ahead, not confirmed, so don't go run into Twitter or anywhere. But you are going to have casted creatures, I guess is the best way to put it. So Phantom Swarm and Geist. Beetle, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I hate to always go back to comparing things to League of Legends, I guess, with these skills, but when I read this, it kind of came off as like a Yorick kind of pet class. I'm pretty sure you can micro the Yorick pets right now, but it's like if you cast them, they all have, the slow, the damage, the damage over time. So it's kind of like, the whole set it and forget it thing. Like, cast it, I know what this pet's doing. Cast it, I know what this pet's doing. It's like they said, it's not really a pet class, but the pets are smart enough to know what they're gonna go do. So, any word of a pet class is cool to me. I'd still like to see something that could be used as a pet class.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word pets. I still would call them creatures. They're casted creatures or minions or something. But, well, when I think pets, I think something that doesn't just have a job. It's something that you are able to do things with, like most of the games that you cast one up, you subdue it, whatever it is that you get to gain it. And then you're able to either train it or have it do specific things, not just I cast it and it goes and does something till it's done when it reaches its goal. There was discussion about a potential polymorph. We were told that they were initially planned to have one, but it's not currently something that's in. There was a mention of a gadget that you may be able to get sometime during your adventures in the game. Of course, everybody also wants to know, are you able to solo as a healer? Everybody always goes DPS, you're always your Shadow Priest, so you get up there and then you switch over and you start healing stuff. But you've been picking up healing gear along the way, right? Everybody's had that dilemma in the past, I'm sure, if you've ever played a healer. Again, we're hearing that a healing Esper should have no problem soloing content in a healing spec. Sorry guys, I'm going over the document the best that we can here. We got targeted healing and healer survivability. All freeform heals also heal the caster as well. So if you're not trying to target something, all those AoE heals, they're going to be able to hit you too, which is good. There are special cases when this isn't so, but hopefully most of the time, if you're running around, you're doing some sort of AoE heal, you're going to get a benefit from that also. Beetle?
Yeah, that's where I hope they'll ship with smart casting in. Just the one press on the ground where the mouse was or something like that, because it just reminds me of I mained an engineer all through Guild Wars 2. Some of you played with me back then, and being able to mouse down and use all those F abilities, those tonics on the ground, and hit yourself with them with the people running with you in World v. World was a big thing. Because there's sometimes that you're running to the next objective in PvP, and you got to top yourself off too as a healer. So I think that'd be great to have these heal the caster as well, and to have smart cast. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And my engineer was boss.
Just so you folks know, cast time for big spells, apparently we're being told 2.75 seconds. That is a long time to be casting the spell. So, on the news of Resurrection, all classes can res out of combat. I'm not sure if this is news for everybody, but if you're tuning in for the first time, not going to have a specific class to res, because everybody can res out of combat. And there are currently no plans for combat reses at this time. So you druids, get to the back of the bus. Nobody wants you in the raid. A customizable spell effect. These are not, there are no plans to have any sort of customizable spell effects before launch. And if there was, I'd probably cry, because there's probably so many other cooler things that they could be doing instead of that. Big concern here, and I'm glad they addressed it. Concerns about light armor dominating raid due to higher DPS. Because there was a lot of information put out about how things were being adjusted in between their last beta stuff. What they've said is the heavy armor classes have DPS stances. They're going to be monitored to see if they can if they're excluded from raiding due to lack of DPS, and balance is necessary. If we're finding out, that even though they've got these wonderful stances, they're just not able to reach, either burst and or sustain DPS, Carbine's going to be able to look at it and balance as they need to. And they did mention that we know not everybody's supposed to have equivalent DPS. Everybody's going to bring their own raid tools. There's going to be people who find those outlier, really awesome specs and setups. But it's not going to be a thing where light armor is just going to dominate. You're not going to want to bring in, that DPS warrior because he's got heavy armor. Beetle, thoughts?
Yeah, this is a pretty big thing for them to touch on, because I've been worrying about this myself. And there's also a note I think we might have missed earlier, Blank, that there are no current plans for combat reses. I don't know if you said that or not. Okay, I was spacing out as I usually do when you talk. But the concerns for light armor was dominating the raid. Like, I was super glad to see these bullet points, and they were ready for these bullet points, and they were ready to handle things like this and tweak them when they come along. Because, yeah, you don't want, 3 warriors tanking and then, 35 espers, spell slingers in the back just chilling. It's like, that just doesn't, I personally don't want to see that. I want to see warriors that can DPS. I want to see stalkers that can tank. It's just, if there's like a kick-ass stalker tank out there that just like calls himself like Sir Badass and he's like the best tank in raids, like, I want to see that kind of stuff. So I was really glad that somebody asked this to Blank.
And it's definitely important because, like you were saying, we keep saying we hope it's this way, and they're starting to tell us. We're trying to make sure that it is this way. Nobody wants to see those, the people who sit around and they theory craft, those guys with big neck beards and get all the calculators and they're like, well, you want the maximum amount of DPS, all you need is clothies. We want to and are really hoping that when this game comes out, we find all sorts of different ways of approaching and defeating content it for whatever it is, whether it's a changing meta around what PvP, different battlegrounds, different gear setups, LASs. I think that's going to be part of the exciting part of it. So for them to say, hey, we know that people are worried about this, we're definitely going to be watching it, it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, because like you were saying, when people are like, oh, there's a warrior. Warriors are always supposed to tank. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how the stalkers, level out if they really can. And we talked about it a little bit with the last Reddit segment we did. They're saying, hey, we've got these variables. We're going to try and balance them out. And I was a little skeptical. We're going to see. But at least they're aware of it. Moving forward here, there's some questions about Esper mobility. Of course, they got the answer back. It's going to depend on your action set. If you bring one escape, you bring one escape. If you bring a couple, you have a couple. We're being told you can give up some bigger nukes and heals to be completely mobile. Stationary skill offer highest DPS heals due to inherent risk of WildStar's telegraph system. I'm going to say that again. Standing still is going to give you the highest DPS and your bigger heals. But obviously, in a game where you're running around, you're not trying to get hit by telegraphs, it's risk versus reward. I can sit here, stand for 3 seconds, and smash out this huge heal, or I can run around and do whatever. That's awesome. And there is no movement speed penalty for casting on the move. We have seen that before in other games. Beetle, you have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, the big time risk and reward, and hello Datix, I don't want to chat right now. But the big time risk and reward with that is, that's, you're running around a boss, you're running around a raid boss, you're waiting for the guys you're PvPing to blow some skills, and you're basic attacking or you're moving around, and then once, that knockdown or that stun comes off, you're just like, all right, I could probably stand still for, 2.5 seconds and get this going. So it's that risk reward, but it's also understanding the enemy, understanding that raid boss, like, all right, raid boss will do a huge telegraph every 14 seconds. He just did it, I have time, that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Risk reward, but again, smart play. And that's we've said it show after show. That's going to be the theme of this game is they're going to reward the smart players.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I'm really, really looking forward to, and especially when people start QQing about things. The people who come in and they do that one trick pony, but it works every time, whether it's PvP or PvE. I'm really looking forward to those sort of things. We were told, what's some customizable and change? There are a large variety of side blades to get while leveling, and as well in Elder Game.
To get while leveling?
Did I say leveling? Leveling. There's concern about everyone looking the same or out of proportion. I'm assuming, very tall people, very small people having side blades. All armor and weapons are scaled for each class. You will be able to skin your armor, so everyone in top tier gear won't have to look the same. Beetle.
Yeah, while I love being able to skin your armor, I really, really want that top tier end game armor to look badass, and I want there to be multiple sets. I want there to be multiple sets that look badass, so the people aren't all looking the same. I should look different, a little bit different from a different spec tank, in my opinion, because I'll go back to Guild Wars 2. It's just like we all had end game gear, but then we all I went and got my dungeon running gear or whatever, and then our guild we actually had separate weeks. It's like, all right, this week we're farming this dungeon. So so-and-so Guardian in our group can get the 2 pieces he needs to make it look cool now. And then next week we're going for someone else's cool-looking stuff so they could just transmute they don't like. It's just like, I don't want it. I want to go back to Diablo 2 where you get to that level 40 set and then you get up to Immortal Kings and you're just like, yeah, I get into someone's multiplayer game, there's that's the guy. That's him,
yeah.
right? That dude's done stuff. So it's yes, there's going to be a certain point at level 50 where there's going to be people like, all right, so this 60% of warriors looks the same, but then there's that 40% that have actually done content past 50, the Elder Game content. Yes, that 60% is going to look very similar, but then the guys that have actually put in the effort, they need to look badass. And that's why I think if you're really raiding, if you're really war plotting, if you're really PvPing, you will look different than the other people, and there's going to be, you know, a couple that you see the same as you because you're putting in that work. Blank.
See, I have a couple concerns here, and it's always I have always felt that your gear and those special things that you get for doing like a special dungeon in a certain amount of time, and you were one of the first 1,000 people in the world to do it, got a special mount. Those things came along with some sort of visual value that when you saw somebody with that, with their glaives or with their benediction or for whatever part it was in the game for you, and I'm saying in the game, I'm speaking of World of Warcraft, in any game, you look at someone, you're like, oh, they are badass. They've put time in, they've whatever. My concern is, let's say you go into a battleground, you might know people by name, but I'm the kind of guy that would skin my armor so I looked like a lower tier, like I looked like something, a less threatening concern, so that I can then blow everybody up before they know what's going on. Skinning armor to me is always... I would rather not be able to skin things, and I would rather just wear what I'm wearing. And if I look like a crappy clown, or I've got, I look like, when an expansion drops and all of your gear goes from looking amazing to looking like you rifled through Goodwill, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So I guess I'm a little concerned about that. Everyone in top tier gear won't look the same, because I'm hoping there aren't a whole hell of a lot of people in top tier gear. I hope it's supposed to be challenging on the way there. So skinning, I don't know. We'll see. I guess move on. Were you good with that, Beetle?
You can call me out when I have my mic muted.
Yeah, I see. It's okay.
No, I'm good with that. It's just I have the same reservations as you. I mean, yes, we don't want to look the same, but like, it is a video game, like how many sets of armor could they truly make? We saw with SWTOR, in Star Wars, it was like, all right, there's this end level gear here, and then you work another 25 hours in PvP and you get your next thing of end level gear, and then you preview it or you look at it whenever they put the preview stupid thing in. It wasn't in initially, and it's the same armor, just retextured. I just about shit myself. I was just like, well, thanks for the stats, but I look like a red Boba Fett now, and I was a blue Boba Fett. Like, this is, like, there's certain points where it gets into game development, and you're like, alright, I understand you guys can't make way more sets because of the time constraint. Just don't retexture everything for me when I'm going through a tier or I'm going up a gear treadmill. Because if I just go from blue spiky pauldrons to green spiky pauldrons to red spiky pauldrons, those spiky pauldrons are getting shoved somewhere because I hate that.
It's true. I guess we'll see how it works out, but that's one of those things that being able to skin your armor makes me think of, okay, well then give me a cash shop so I can then, put skins on my armor and look badass from level 3, but then, I don't want, Nixus come out here and start
don't
freaking
piss
out.
Nixus off.
So. I know, right? So we'll just, it's good. We're good, dude. We're good. People were concerned about light armor mitigation. They were, you can throw those fears to the side. You have the same mitigation for physical and non-physical attacks. That's what we had for all of that. That is your rundown of the Esper Reddit AMA. Now we're going to pop into a little bit of other interesting finds that were on Reddit. Apparently this week, guys over Carbine decided to kind of keep their, heads to the ground and kind of hear what was going on. A lot of stuff on Reddit. So we're going to give you a couple links here. This one's called Beta Invite Details, Friend Keys in the Future. And there's a little bit of explanation of why beta invites got worked out the way they did. To give a little bit of context here, stress testers were promised to get back into beta when it came back up. Carbine is not looking to break servers at this time. They're looking to build a more controlled beta testing environment. This comes from Cougar, which is one of the apparently is one of the guys who is in charge of the servers. So when things break or get on fire, he is the one to take care of it.
He's part of the live team.
Yep. The decision was to keep some stress testers waiting, then to not re-invite permanent closed beta testers. And other people had some concerns about friend keys. We're being told that this is a social experiment. And Cougar went on to explain, I play MMOs with my friends, and if they stop, I do, and if I stop, they do, vice versa. So why not, try a little social experiment by giving some of these keys away? A little bit of caveat here, though. Don't go selling it on eBay, or don't give it to somebody you don't really know, because that is linked to your stuff. If you invite a friend and they do something that's bannable or gets in trouble, you are responsible for them. So if you don't have anybody that you trust with that sort of level of trust, probably should just hold on to it. There was also another post over on Reddit, beta testers in Carbine doing something silly for them. There was a hypothetical situation put up where hypothetically people that were helping out in beta were getting hypothetical exclusive hoverboards and armor that is unlocked by logging in once a week during the 4-week beta test. There was a post put up by Scooter and then responded to by Gaffney that said that the hoverboard and costume are not unique and will be obtainable in-game for those who are not randomly drawn into the beta test. So those, no worries, no frets there. There's going to be a small fee for anyone else to get them, and or you're going to be able to earn them in the normal flow of content. That's from Gaffer, and all things are, adjustable. Might be another level or cost post-launch, but the short form is there will be ways of getting the items post-launch for those without beta access, and I quote, "We are not evil." This week, somebody sent this to us. We hadn't thrown it out there before. We wanted to throw it to you guys because it is of our lovely faction, the Dominion domination, hashtag Twitter, hashtag blank space, hashtag awesome. This is them recording it's an exclusive recording of the systematic domination. Definitely go check it out. We love you, Jeff. You're doing amazing things. And if you guys missed it, we're going to give you a big lowdown of a lot of really cool stuff that happened last week. First link you're going to get is the full detailed explanation of the wild hoverboard reveal chase. The next one is the equation for the hoverboard reveal, and then the actual hoverboard reveal itself. I wish we made that a scene. What they had done was after they did the Warrior Dev Speak, the disclaimer clue had all of these crazy things for people to figure out. So on top of putting this entire code thing together, they had to go and put in the Konami code on one of the pages, and that actually opened up the actual reveal on WildStar Central. One person brute force hacked it, not hacked it, but brute forced their way in and found it. And then it wasn't until I think 5 or 6 hours later that some of the people that were in IRC were able to get the entire equation finished. So that was pretty cool. Those links are there, and I happened to be sleeping when this all happened and popped into IRC, poked a couple of questions because all the Carbine people were there hanging out, and I asked, did Disclaimer come up with this himself? Apparently, back in the day, they had done a Rickroll, and they wanted to do another reveal because they've been really enjoying the disclaimers. It's really a part of who they are. It was kept pretty tightly wrapped up within the company. and I guess Gaffney said go for it, and he ran with it. He poked all sorts of people to help, guys from Korea to help with the translation, video guys, web guys. A lot of people were involved in making it happen, but it was really special. It was really cool to be a part of the WildStar community when that happened, and Carbine actually even said they don't know if it was more fun for us or them. It was fun for everybody, all in general. I mean, when it comes to the things that Carbine does to make this community a lot of fun and interactive, to let us know that they're listening and that they care. I mean, this is one of those things that, out of the time I've played with other developers, the different games I've played, the relationships I've had with other developers, this really does take the cake. I mean, these guys are the real deal. Anyways, that's that. There's a lot of stuff there, and if you haven't seen the hoverboard reveal and it's your first time seeing it, wait until we're done here. We're almost done, I promise. And just take a second to enjoy the whole video. It's amazing. The next link that you're going to get is one of the people from Reddit happened to be watching a live stream of the Warrior, saw the Warrior jumping around and wanted to figure out how far or how big the world that he was jumping around actually was. So the link you're going to get, used the reference points in the live stream, figured out the distance traveled by leap on the mini map, and then did some magic nerd math, beep boop beep, and then figured out the gallery size would come to be around 4 kilometers. If you haven't seen that, that's some crazy math, but still pretty cool. So we wanted you guys to check that out. And there was a thread over at WildStar Central that was talking about it's casual content, only solo in WildStar, and the response that was given to us is the difficulty of content. Solo, ship hands, and expeditions are for almost everyone. Adventures are time to put on your big boy girl pants. Dungeons are bring friends, die together, question marks, profit. Then there's veteran. Difficulty is over 9,000. 20-man raid is rocking back and forth in your chair, weeping softly. And 40-man raid is you are officially hardcore. And being told that was J-Tao from Carbine. With that, folks, you have just gotten all of the WildStar weekly news that you guys needed to know. We're going to hop into these questions right here. Beetle, you want to take it away with the questions we got?
Yeah, no problem. Let me cough real quick. All right. So, I think I'm unmuted. Yeah, I'm unmuted. All right, so we've got the kitty cat talk tonight. We've got some questions. First question tonight comes from the cockpit. Are the classes being set up in a rock paper scenario, so you need a diverse group? We like to think that they are. It's kind of difficult to tell right now because we haven't gotten the full scoop on each as far as what we know they're capable of, but that's what you really hope, and that's what you really hope to hear from them saying that the Warrior can tank or the Warrior also has a DPS stance. That's, they're trying to lean towards that rock, paper, scissors type stuff. Anybody else on that? Nope.
No.
Moving on.
Nope.
All right. Gazmoff asks, question for you guys, how many of you are getting a PS4 tomorrow or an Xbox One next week? I'm not kidding either. For reasons I can't say. PS4, I have a buddy getting a PS4 tomorrow, and he's getting NBA 2K14, so I might go over to his place and shoot up some Kobe Bryants. Maybe get a beer or two. But otherwise, no, I'm going to wait for a while.
Nope, not me. Haven't played a console sit-down since Dragon Age 2. Probably the last thing I sat down and played on my Xbox. So it would be silly of me to get one of those right now.
That wasn't even a good game either.
Dude, exactly.
Dragon Age 1 was way better. Alright, Karma Sutra. Anyone concerned about the AMP system? How many times are you going to have to respec that thing every day to switch between PvP and PvE content? Yeah, Blank, I'll let you take that.
We talked a little bit about that last week. We're not really sure how difficult it's going to be. It may be something like your limited action set. So you can hope that they add something, functionality around being able to move that thing around. Just like, hey, we're going into this new thing. We got to mess around with it. Same as we do for our limited action set. Other than that, though, no idea. No idea about cost or any of that sort of stuff. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But more than likely, they're going to be able to balance it into whatever needs that the player base has. That's why they have winter beta going on right now. They're going to be able to hear people telling them, hey, we want to know how this is working for you, how this is not working for you, how shiny the grass is, how watery the water is, whatever it is. And once they get their feedback, which they've been amazing at doing, they'll make changes. And the cool part is they actually let us know. They're like, hey, these are the things that are happening. So that's really cool.
All right. Got one from Jesse Monster. How do you feel about the hybrids and possible return of professional off-tank specs for 40-mans? I'm super excited. That's one of the biggest things. I've kind of talked about it earlier today. It was just like, I'm so excited for those specialty off-tanks and those specialty, just builds that just make someone so cool and so pivotal to a team. I'm so excited for those. Nixus?
No, exactly. Same as you, dude. We even talked about it in our show last week regarding the possible support roles that Warriors may take on, as rather than being an actual tank, they'd be almost like a buff tank. So they'd be basically taking their armor and transferring it to somebody else. So anything like that is really exciting to think about, and I'm hoping that it is as diverse as they're making it seem. So, Blank Space?
That's it. I'm really looking forward to that. It's not going to be just, one main tank, two main tanks. It's going to be those that your job is to figure out what you need to do and go take care of this section. That's awesome. We're all really looking forward to it. And not just off tank, but potential support tanks. Hey, your job is to do damage, but when this phase happens, you need to then pop your support stuff and then help these people or help that person or help. Really looking forward to see how these things synergize, especially on a 40-man platform, which we haven't seen for years. So,
nope.
Looks like, folks, that Beetle here is he's tapping out. We got to thank Ron Burgundy for stopping by. And with that, we're done. He's want to make sure that you guys know we're all on the old Twitter. That's Beetle Bossy, Mr. Nixus, and Real Blank Space. Make sure to follow this Twitch channel, like us on Facebook. Once again, it was a pleasure and an honor to give you guys your WildStar Weekly News, and we hope to see you guys next week. Is next week Thanksgiving? I can't remember. Yeah, Next week's Thanksgiving, so that's probably not going to happen. However,
is it next week Thanksgiving? No, it's not. No,
2 weeks.
Oh, it's 2 weeks.
Incorrect. Yeah.
My bad.
Scared me.
Just cut that off then. Just because this isn't a live show. Just cut it off the end. It's not a big deal.
Snip it.
Thanks, guys, for stopping by. You guys have a great one.
Also, for everybody's still staying up late, I will be doing a little bit of streaming for like an hour or so, playing some Rogue Legacy. If anybody has any questions about WildStar, wants to hang out, I will be at Twitch TV/Beetlejuice. Yeah. For anybody that wants to hang out and watch some side-scrolling fun, because it's a difficult game and I enjoy it.
Go watch Beetle. He's a good streamer. You guys have a great night. Thanks for stopping by.
You stay classy, San Diego.
Thank you.